Well, we got the seats out, the Pantera, so we've been working on getting these retractor covers off and the seat belts themselves so we can pull this panel off so we can get access to the engine.
Yeah, we've definitely never done this before, so just figuring it out. Well, there's your problem. We're gonna get rid of this guy and go with a different dude. Slide stick out. Wait, so... Wouldn't that be funny if it was just a loose wire? Now it appears one modification we have to do to the car is actually drilling out the factory alternator bracket to accept a new bushing. So not a super big fan of that, but I do appreciate that this is going to be a, precision fit. So open it up to 1/2-inch hole. And we'll get a magnet, get the rest of these shavings, make sure we don't have any left in the car. That part kind of sucked. Got my little deburring tool. Maybe my 1/2-inch drill is different than their 1/2-inch drill. I think that's gonna go. There we go. That is nice. So just gotta work on the other side and we can install our alternator. Alright, we're under the Pantera, and up here is the alternator wiring. So because I can't get two hands in here, you guys have to kind of go with what I'm talking about. Now the blue wire, we're actually going to cut before that little red connector there. And so we're going to run that to a adapter that's going to sit on the alternator itself. The orange and green wires that run to the factory regulator, we're actually going to discard. So for me, instead of discarding them or cutting them off completely, I'm just going to cap them. That way, if somebody wants to kind of convert this thing back to original, like if they wanted an original type regulator and stuff like that, they have the ability to do that and they don't have to run new wiring. So I'm going to do my best to be non-invasive here. The yellow wire we're going to run to the new alternator, and that should be pretty easy. So we're going to kind of de-pin it from there. I will end up cutting that splice off and then we'll run the correct individual wire. So anyway, after that there is a black wire up there, your main lug. That's also where the other ends of the green and orange terminals are. So over there will be pretty straightforward to the back of the alternator, and yeah, we're gonna get this figured out. So next up, I'm going to remove the factory regulator there, give us a little bit more space, and then game plan.
A few moments later.
All right, update time. So I have this plug completed. Now I have all 4 wires running into the new plug. They're all terminated exactly how they were, so you could just de-pin this, kind of unspin it, and then put it back into a factory orientation. So the extra yellow wire here that's just tied off of the existing one. I didn't modify it. All I did was kind of spin it around, twist this so they'd all be at the same length, and then just zip tied the, well, if we can show it, zip tied the extra length to the side here. I also put some heat shrink on this just so it would be a little bit sealed off and won't contact anything. As far as the secondary plug, so this is going to run to the alternator itself. Now I have 2 slots open. Like I said, I just left all 4 going to one plug. They're just terminated here, so this is just a placeholder instead of putting heat shrink over them and letting them dangle. This is just keeping them in place in a safe way. So this plugs in here. I want to run a little bit of wire protection, and then the ends of these will run up to the alternator back up over there. So that's where we'll kind of pick up this story. Now the alternator itself, a lot more modern unit. We have these 2 terminals here. This is the magic adapter that Pantera Electronics provides. So our yellow and blue go to this. One is for the generator and one is to the solenoid, and then our main lug here is for the traditional main lug for the car. So anyway, I have these guys all finished up. Now it does include a couple plastic crimp connectors, but I just kind of prefer to do my own double crimp and then putting heat shrink over them. That way there's just a lot more strain relief. That's just the way I want to do it. You guys don't have to do the same. So those are going to plug in essentially to the side like that. This will plug into the alternator. So now we're going to start mounting the alternator. Apparently I'm going to have to modify this bracket ever so slightly on this bottom side. We will see how that goes. And finally, all tidied up. I went ahead and put on a P-clamp right there just to help with any vibration. And then I've got a little zip tie up there. I can't really zoom in right now, but harness is running where it needs to be. Good strain relief. So it's running over there. And then now we're going to start up top and finish this up. All right, the bushings are in. And now I'm just going to do a little test fit action here. So we have this spacer which goes on the back side like that. I don't know if you guys can see. I go on the back side of the alternator. That's definitely a precision fit. There's just a little bit of wiring on the back. Going to like the temperature switch or temperature sensor. Might have to work on. It should fit, but you know. Okay, take this out, start hooking everything up, and then we'll modify this bracket as required. Alright, I've got my main cable hooked up. Getting ready to put on the adapter, and it is numbered, so can't really screw it up. I say that, but I wouldn't put it past me. And then finally our 2 leads, yellow on the bottom, blue up top. That nut is started. It's kind of strange. They wanted me to drill this out, put that bolt in. It doesn't feel any more secure than it did without the bushings because the slack in the alternator. Strange. Anyway, they also include this guy right here for the top. So now it's time to get this bracket on, get this job finished up. So the lug is hitting the dipstick tube, which is something that they mention could happen. So first, I guess I need to go ahead and get the belt set up, figure out exactly what that needs to be. I have two options, so we'll see if I can go grab both, but to be continued. All right, I just modified the bracket, just took a little bit of material off. It now fits this very well. The belt that was suggested was a 7405, but I had to go with a 7410 because the lug does interfere with the oil dipstick tube just barely. So this is the 1/2 inch longer belt, works totally fine. Okay, now our bracket comes down. The bolt for this is down on the carpet, so I'll be right back. All right, we have good belt tension. Everything's tight. We are wired up. Cable routing actually looks really good. So I think we're ready to hook the battery up and start this thing and see if it's charging. Okay, time to start this thing up and not put my arm in a water pump pulley. We got amperage. No generator light, and we're charging. Well, that is awesome. This thing should run so much better. I'm excited to go drive it. So I'm going to start putting this thing back together. We're also going to install the fire extinguisher in the passenger seat. Well, we have the cover off. When I got this thing started and started driving it, I could tell this little surface right here was contacting that cover. So it might only be a little bit, but that's still enough to warrant concern. So obviously we have a couple issues here. The belt that I had to put on was the 1/2 inch longer version because the alternator is in fact hitting the oil dipstick tube. So that means the alternator is moved out that way, putting it closer to this surface here. So, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do my best to see if I can get that other belt on. That would fix our issue for sure. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to have to hammer that out or something. I don't really want to do that. Look, I'm not proud, but I had to do what I had to do. So we've shaped this just a little bit. Paint was coming off right there, so I just went ahead and cut the paint out. So you really can't even tell on this side. It's pushed out just a little bit, but I think it'll be enough. So I tried with the alternator, and I just could not get it with the shorter belt. Okay, can confirm that the dent in fact worked. So just took this thing for a drive, and there is no noise to be had from there. I did have to pull it off again, however, because I didn't get the belt tension tight enough. So Now we're gonna get the cover back on. Well, to sufficiently test the alternator, we need to go hit some corners and make sure it's gonna stay on. So, here we are. favorite road. Well, it seems that the alternator is alternatoring and the car runs pretty well. Now, it's always going to need some work, so I'm going to try to kind of get it dialed in. We might actually have to dig into the engine. So I still feel like it has a problem with the lifters on one side, like on one cylinder. So we'll see kind of how we can resolve that, but if we dig into the engine, I'm probably going to make some changes. So anyway, hope you guys like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.